Hey tubers, welcome back for another adventure. One of the things that makes my whole world turn, obviously, are these all-terrain vehicles. But one of the problems you run into very quickly if you're messing with these all-terrain vehicles is the ability to get spare parts. And one of the best ways I find to get spare parts, quite honestly, is buying the whole of something, W-H-O-L-E, all of something, rather than buying pieces off of eBay one piece at a time. A lot of times it's easier to just buy something complete and take whatever parts you want off of it. There's good and there's bad from that. If you buy something complete and it has all the parts you need, a lot of times you get a good deal on the parts you need, plus you have leftovers for the next project. The unfortunate thing is sometimes when you buy something whole, you discover that it's, hey, wait a minute, I can fix this also. You don't want to part it out, so now you have another fairly large object floating around your place, right? It's if all you need is a spark plug and you buy an entire bike and you discover that bike only needs a spark plug, now you got two bikes that only need a spark plug, and if you hang on to them both, you don't have any space, which is what my problem. But I got a million problems, so who cares? Anyway, to that end, this is a GY6 engine. It was an eBay deal from that guy who has returned GY6 150cc engines. Give them a quick look and you'll find them. And I kind of ended up with this engine more on a lark than anything else. For something like this, typically the engine itself goes for somewhere around $150, $160, and then it's another $65 to get it delivered to your house. This is the second one I bought from him. The first one I paid $94 for, and then once again $60 to get it brought to the house. So I have about $150 into that one. This one was a much better deal. This one was $62 and $60 to get it to the house. So I have about $125 invested in this guy. And the way they described it and the way the pictures looked, I thought I was getting a parts engine, but suddenly this one looks like it has the potential to run. Let's look at it from the $125 point of view. What did I get if it doesn't run? Intake manifold, about $10. Starter, somewhere around $40. Carburetor, $25 to $30. Starting solenoid, coil, voltage regulator, CDI unit. Believe it or not, this silly plastic, they do sell it. The guards that go around the engine, they sell that too. Typically it's around $30. So if you add up everything I just talked to you about, you can see I got my $120 worth. The one I was looking at, the one I thought I was going to get, and the one that I was kind of cheap on, I thought this was stoved in. And that does not appear to be the case, right? That's not all stoved in. But instead, as I was opening the box, I noticed some loose metal, and it turns out it comes from over here, which I don't care about because the rear mount is here and this mount is here, and even if I want to mess with the brakes, they're still here. So I really don't care if there's a little damage right here. At some point somebody must have put oil in it and shipped it back, and then it got shipped to me with oil in it, because there's like oil all over the place. And if you look at the box, you can see the oil stains on it. They put it in a garbage bag, and once again, I think it was full of oil, and they shipped it, and the box got turned upside down and all around, and it leaked out vents and everywhere. Before I attempted to turn the engine over, what I did is I took out the spark plug, and I very gently tapped the starter electrically and turned it over very slowly to make sure that it wasn't going to go clang, bang, 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 and then, now I've destroyed everything from here down. So, anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick compression test on this thing, and at the same time you'll be able to hear the motor turn around, and we'll hear if there are any bad sounds. It's interesting it came with the plastic cover on it here. So, I think we got it all good. So, if I believe this gauge, it's telling me somewhere around 180 psi for engine compression. It's probably closer to 150, but that more or less tells me I got a pretty sound unit. It claims it passed inspection. The next step, there's a couple of next steps for it. First thing I got to do is kind of clean this thing up, and while I'm cleaning it up, I got to inspect it really good to make sure it doesn't have a hole somewhere else, like in the bottom. I mean, I looked it over as I was flipping it about. I didn't notice any other problems anywhere else, but you really don't know until you inspect it well. Right, I'm not seeing anything down here. It would be like here around this side. I'm not seeing any cracks or anything. So I think it's going to be good, right? The exhaust lugs are there. I think I did very well. I think this was a nice deal for $122. I think I did okay. You don't know until it's running and you're using it. At this point, I think I'm going to get rid of the guys. eBay, once you buy something from somebody, they keep telling you about, oh, the guy's got another one for sale, and that's what this guy's business is, selling off these returned, as they're called, engines. So, and he's always getting them, which means I'm always getting told he's getting them. So, there we are. What I did with this one is I follow the engines, and as soon as they go over $100, which means it's $160 with the shipping, as soon as they go over $100, I'm like, no, I'm not paying more than $160 for these. I mean, heck, I buy whole go-karts for not all that much more than that, right? For 2 engines, I can have a whole go-kart, including an engine. So, obviously, I'm not going to pay too much, more than $100 and a half total with shipping for these things. Once again, the first one came in at 150 something. What did I pay for it? 94. So the first one came in at 154, and this one came in, I think it's at 122. So, and now I should once again have plenty between this and the parts engines I have floating around. I should be good. So a suggestion: if you are looking into working on stuff, it doesn't matter if it's a Honda or one of these China junk things, make sure that you're able to get your hot little hands on the parts. If you can't get the parts, you're done. You ain't coming out of the gate. Should you decide to get creative and say, oh well, I'm going to swap engines around, make sure one of the hardest things to do is swapping something onto a shaft drive type body. So you pull the shaft drive engine off, now you have to hook something up to the shaft drive, which could be all kinds of interesting drive shaft jobs and all kinds of stuff like that. And even if you manage to get everything in, you get all the motor mounts in and all that, you got to do it such that the drive shaft could move without binding in any directions. So just a suggestion once again if you're buying bikes and looking to swap engines around. Okay, I want to thank everybody for watching this video. Please remember to keep your feet down, your heads up, and get out and enjoy each and every day. Hot as the dickens today, so this is about as far as I got, was opening the box, lying out the parts, and trying to figure out what kind of shape I'm in with this. It's just really too hot to move. All right, take care now. Bye, folks.